The latest and greatest PvE content to hit the game so far is the Underground Labyrinth. Now, if you aren't familiar, it is basically a series of stages where you will recruit heroes, level them up, and take on other boss fights in exchange for some pretty neat material, or rewards, I should say. So every run's going to cost 30 stamina. We're going to start with the first floor today. And when you jump in, you're going to see essentially a game board full of all these random little game pieces, and they are all on hexes. Now, depending on the path that you pick, you can only travel to adjacent hexes. So for example, this 3-row, depending on where I go, you can only stem to the ones that will connect. Now, if you look off to the right, you'll see the rewards that you get. So I've already cleared the first floor. So this is what you'll receive. It's not bad. This card's very good. You get a free multi to use on Zeldris or Esta. That's all nice and dandy. So we'll talk about each game piece as we get there. First, we do have to recruit a hero. So you're going to come down to set party, and you're going to see either a brawler or nunchuck bond, some kind of Lizhawk, some kind of base or demon melee, and then some kind of giant Deanne. Now, probably the best first units you could pick, I would say, are Green Brawler Bond, because he does have very good lifesteal. HP does carry over between fights, just like Guild Wars. Green Demon Melee has very good stats, because he's probably one of the newer characters out of all of these sins. And then Green Giant Deanne, because she has double AoE, so she can clear stages pretty quick. So out of that selection, we do have Green Giant Deanne, so we're going to go with that, and we're going to come to our first game piece. Now, this is a normal battle. You can see that you can view the monsters here, and then you're going to get treasure chests, and then you're going to get this material. This material we will use at the shops later on. But as you can see as well, everybody starts at level 1, no awakening, base SSR. So it's pretty even across the board for all players. There's no cosmetics, there's no gear, there's none of that. The only thing that matters is that you have some of the units. Because the only way that some of them are going to show up, you do have to own them, unfortunately. But I don't think that matters on stage 3. I think that matters at least for stage 1. I'm not 100% sure on stage 2. But Deanne does pretty well here, as you can see, with double AoEs. Not enough to kill that right one. But the right one's not attacking, so we're going to all in here. I don't think she has good enough stats at level 1 to have lifesteal. I'm not sure if any of the giant Deannes do. But we cleared that, minimal damage taken. We got our chest, and we got our material. So we are going... Okay, the game disappeared. We're going to move on. As you can see, we have come to our first fork in the road. Left side is 2-star awakening or 10 levels. I think levels are probably the best to take first. You're going to get the most stats overall, unless the unit you're using requires the first 2 stars of substats. So if you take Blue Demon Melee, I think the first or second star will have Pierce. So if you have something niche like that that requires good substats, then do that. Otherwise, we're going to go for the levels. And we are going to try to balance them out. As you can see, we do have several spots where we are going to make that choice again. But the next spot we have come to is another recruitment. So here you're going to either see some kind of Merlin, some kind of Escanor, some kind of fat or skinny king, and then some kind of Gother, but any one of these can also be Blue Slater. Now, Summer Merlin is definitely the best pick here, and then if she doesn't show up, Red Gother. Both for the same reasons, they can attack seal, but Summer Merlin's going to do a lot more damage than Gother will, so we will keep her. And then you do have the option of changing positions. We're going to keep her on the right so our cards don't merge. Next fork. We can either take 10 levels, or we can do this random battle, and we will get a passive. Now, the passive list is pretty big, so we're only going to cover what we hit. So it looks like this is the first random stage, so it is going to be a bunch of basic spiders. So we will go for that. Should be a pretty easy fight. We're going to pretty much keep them attack sealed. They will only be able to debuff. Oh, not spiders, they're insects. Whatever. So, middle one is not using an attack, so we will target it. Probably not going to kill, so it is disadvantage. Merlin damage is going to be nasty. Oh, it's still almost killed. Her stats are so good. She's definitely the newest out of the second selection, so we can't seal here. We can double 2-star AoE. Oh wow, that actually killed there. We got a couple crits in, so that was pretty good. So minimal damage taken. And now we will have a selection of passives. And they are going to be for our team only. They scale from SR to UR. And all of them usually have some kind of nuance we need to pay attention to. So basic stat increase if they're all the same race. It's not going to apply. Lifesteal, if they're below 50, that's super good. And then damage dealt using skills. The remaining HP is more than 70% of maximum. I'm going to go with Lifesteal. I do think Lifesteal is probably one of the best passes you can get. So, the second random battle is going to be, I believe, an actual boss fight. Yeah, with Golgius, Frisia, and Ruin. And then the third is Jericho Bongila. So, that's going to be a pretty tough fight. I'm not going to go for it. I think if you're confident enough in your RNG and your abilities, double passive isn't too bad. It'll take you to ult levels, but we're going to play it safe for the sake of the run, so that this video isn't too crazy. We're going to go for the Awakening path. This way, again, we can have that balance of stars and levels, because the stats on the first floor are going to be more important than stacking passives. So that is something I would aim to do. And then you'll have a much easier run. Now obviously every time you play it back, you know, you can choose a different path, take a different run, see if something is better, see if something's worse. That's all comes down to decision making. So I think that's what makes this pretty fun, since you can have a different outcome almost every time. Although a lot of the stages and stuff are pre-decided. I guess really the only thing that's different is the units and maybe the way you fight them? I don't know. We can use the one, it's fine. We'll get ult for both. See if that'll at least kill Marmus. Nice. They're not attacking us now. And we're not below 50, so we're not going to get the lifesteal off. But if we did have lifesteal, we're going to want to try to stall out fights so that we can attack, fit in as many attacks as we can. It's not the case yet. We're going to have to get some more Awakening levels to get lifesteal for these units. I think Merlin might have it. So since we took the right path, we can't touch ultimate levels, but we can touch the health pot, and then we can touch Awakening. Now the health pot, it's only like 20 or 30% of HP. It's not even a full recovery, so obviously we're almost topped off, so we're not going to go for that. We're going to go for the 2 stars, and we will have some basics, or some substats here. So we are on now to our next regular fight, and then as you can see, it's another 3-piece, so we're not going to be able to hit the Awakenings, but that's okay, because we are going to go for the units. I would say anytime you come to a unit pool, always go for that. You can swap out dead units, put in somebody that you don't like, or swap out somebody you don't like. It'll also increase CC, so that's going to matter for the boss fights. I think every round so far, we've actually started with 3 Merlin cards since we got her. This is why she's so good. She's literally just single-handedly carrying this. Good for us, you know. We don't have Merlin cards now. That's fine, I guess. Just double AoE with Deanna. Can you kill anybody? Oh, you might kill that left side. Almost killed both. Maybe one more crit. I think the middle has 2 attacks too, so that sucks. Oh, that's actually... He's chunking. That hit wasn't the best. It's not below 50% HP, so our passive's not going to kick in. Maybe our 2-star Awakening had lifesteal on it? I don't think it does. We'll know here. No, she still has no lifesteal. So she's half health. Not too worried about it. We'll get our next unit here. We obviously aren't going to go for the levels. And we have some Holy Knights to pick. Let's see. His passive's not going to be useful. I don't think Helbram's very good at all. Frisia I don't think is that good either. He's double AoE. We already have AoE, but he's the only human, so maybe Gil. He'd be a good sub-slot unit, especially since Merlin is also blue and she's the carry. She will have an increase in her defenses. Maybe we'll do that. Now, do we do the random fight, which we know is going to be a boss fight, or do we do the random fight, regular fights? Well, like I did mention, we do want to aim for the units. So it's definitely what we're going to do is go for the units. So we'll take on the left side passive. We know this is going to be a harder fight. Is this the Gila fight? I didn't check it. Oh, it's the Hugo fight. Okay. So this fight can be rough because Gustav does freeze. So taking him out first won't be a bad idea. And what do we have here? Spike damage and a debuff. Shock would be better. I mean, we'll go for the single target. See if we can kill. Merlin does have typing here. Not bad. Not quite. It's close enough. So somebody's getting frozen. But that's all they'll be able to do. Oh, it wasn't a freeze. It was his bleed attack. Oh, wait. Is this Gustav freeze? It's red Gustav. I didn't even think about that. Okay, so it's a little different. So he's not freezing. We got no Merlin cards. So we will go for the card draw. He's going to die to the AoEs. So we'll go for Weinhardt. Now, Deanne could die here if we don't get enough attack seals. She could be on death's door. If not, it's fine. And if a unit does die, and you like the unit and you have a good team, if you're able to beat Melly, there is a revive at the start of the next floor. So, should be fine there. If you make it to it. We can get Merlin ult. We will do that. And then that should be it. Because they'll both be attack sealed. And then with the ult, Hugo should be dead next turn. Oh, the bleed is really ticking here. I mean, you have no life steal, so there's no point in me attacking with Deanne first. HP related. Down. Alright, so that wasn't the smoothest fight, but nobody died. Oh, you know what? We do have the Deanne, we do have that lifesteal passive. Totally forgot about that. We actually do have lifesteal then. That totally slipped my mind. That's fine. We have a new set of passives. So the ult gauge ones are also super good to go for. If they are all of different races. We have a human, an unknown, and a giant. I like that. And this is for each female. We have 2 females. That wouldn't be too bad either. Advantageous attributes plus 10%. We're going to go for ult gauge. Because ult gauge can be crazy. Now, we don't have to take a unit, but we can look in the pool if it's got something good. Now, SR Slater is the best here. We could definitely, we could put in work with that, for sure. So I think we're going to do that. Now, he's going to have to be on the front because that's where his passive works. And then Gil is fine being in the back, so both humans will be away from each other, which is good. And now we can take a peek into the shop. So this is what you're working with. So we can swap people or get a new one. I think this has OC units in here, so you can get people like Easton, Lilia. But you would have to take, in order to hit 40, the double passive fight that's right here into the ult level. You would have to do that. Otherwise, we're going to be at 35, I believe. Unless there's another double fight that I didn't take. Everything else we could buy. Because we're hitting melee, right? So we do want to prepare ourselves. I don't think the HP, the health pot wouldn't be too bad. We could buy, what levels are we? 23. We could go for the levels. That's probably not terrible. I'm actually not sure if the currency carries over. So what we could do is go for this. This will just heal us a little bit, max HP. Yes, that's not terrible. Oh, okay, so you can only buy once as well. So I guess that answers, well, it doesn't answer if they carry over or not. So we're fighting counter melee. We do LTC. You don't obviously get to see his, but we would go second if we didn't have enough. The good thing about the counters here is we can just rush ults and potentially one-shot him. 540, 525, and 400. We didn't obviously take any ult levels, so we're going to want to do our best. So we'll have 2 ults here. Damage is going to be not the best. It's not bad. We're going to have 2 attack seals because of Merlin passive and Slater ult. So I think one of them was a silver counter. So, you know, I do have the option of trying to attack with Deanne, but obviously the lifesteal is going to kick in and then his counter damage is going to hit hard. Ooh, it crit. That Slater might actually kill her. Ooh, even without a crit, 13k. That's really pretty good. At least in this stage of the game. And there is more currency. So that is the first floor. And we'll take a look at what this does. Got a little portal. Go to the next floor, yes. Okay, so it transfers us to the next floor and then we just carry on. So we will do this probably another time. So if you guys liked it, drop a thumbie, maybe a sub if you're into that, and I'll see you in the next one.